Welcome to Box Score Studio, where the stats speak, the stories hit harder, and every take comes straight off the playbook. Let's talk sports.
What is up, Box Score fans? Of course, we've got another episode here. We are live on YouTube as well as Twitter and Twitch. If anybody still uses that, we're live on there as well. It's Rudy Campos Jr. And we got a good show tonight, man. We talking some Super Bowl here. Seattle Seahawks are your Super Bowl champs, not your Super Bowl chumps. We've got some NBA talk. You hear about the tanking and all this stuff. Is it right? Is it wrong? Shout out to Justin Termini. He was talking about how, basically Pop, was involved, not involved, but kind of did it back in the day and this and that. We'll get into that as well. Also, Laker injury report for tonight's Lakers Spurs game. Again, looks like that OKC injury report. And then we got Spurs Chisme, y'all's favorite segment out there, Spurs Chisme. Got a lot going on social media, man. We're going to kind of get to the bottom of a lot of this stuff here. And of course, I represent the USOA, got the shirt ball in here. I'm joined by a very special guest before bringing him on, Chunky Flamingo. Chunky Cards 20 is that promo code. Go to chunkyflamingo.com. Hit that promo code, Chunky Cards 20. You get 20% off. Rumor has it you get some trading cards as well. Just do it today. Chunky Cards Flamingo. Also, shout out to MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of us here and partners of us here at Box Score Studio. Let's not waste any time, man. Let's bring him on here. It is Sith himself from Grading the Market, repping the San Antonio 316. I've got the USOA shirt, and we've got a bunch of guys in here. Sith, what is up, bro?
Man, what's good, bro? What's good? Shout out to all my Sucios, all my USOA brother, and from all the way from Cali to Australia to the good old 210. Shout out Rudy Campos Jr.
Damn,
the head honcho over here at Box Score. Hell yeah, bro. Our girl Sammy, she represents the Sucias all the way in Australia.
Well, I know the Australia, but I didn't know we had any Cali people here, man. That's
the one and only Quan Wick, my brother.
Oh, that's right. Quan's out there. Okay. I was like, not a lot of people in Cali like me for whatever reason. I don't know. I guess I get a bad taste in people's mouth. Sam Salinas says, good evening. Of course, you reposted the stream. I like that. Jacob Eric of Grading the Market as well as in here. He says, let's do it. Leja, MCS Zone, what's good? And he says, Puro pinche USOA sucios. Yeah, we are repping, man. Again, thank you for joining the Box Score Studio. Be sure to go to our YouTube page, Box Score Studio TV, and you hit that subscribe button so you get more Box Score Studio from week to week. Man, Super Bowl just ended. You texted me and you were like, and of course I made a bet, $25 bet. I took the Patriots. And of course, the Patriots, they screw me over with the Atlanta game in the Super Bowl. Obviously, I believe in them. I have a little bit of faith. And of course, hey, you know what it is? They screw me on this one too. I end up losing the bet to you. I did cash app you. For everybody out there, I do pay my bet.
Yeah, he did. He cashed out me by the start of the fourth. That was before Drake May. That was before Drake May went Super Saiyan and dropped over 200 yards in one quarter. Rudy's a real one though. He honored that bet before the game was even over. Which Rudy, I told you the game was over that morning. As you know, I tweeted out Seahawks win and Kenneth Walker III will be MVP.
Yeah, you did tweeted that. You got both of those right. Shout out to Lehi. He says USOA is worldwide. I did that. And I love the comment from Snowman Yankee 777. No idea who the F you are, but he says, I don't wipe. That might be true in some cases. Maybe there are some times when you run out of toilet paper, there's not enough, there to wipe it up. But I'm assuming that's what it is. I don't wipe my ass very well, which first and foremost, if you're smelling anywhere I sit or you're just down there smelling my ass, you're a really, really disgusting person. So not really know where he's going with it on that. Pat's doing Rudy dirty twice. Yeah, doing me dirty twice, man. Shout out to Leha and shout out to the Patriots for screwing me over. But nonetheless, man, the Seahawks, bro, they are your Super Bowl 60 champs, 29-13. You called it Kenneth Walker, the third MVP of the Super Bowl. Did you have any excitement in this game? Because I've seen more excitement, watching paint dry, bro. It was just
terrible. I had the script, like this, the NFL script, and I knew it was going to be a boring game. I actually went up to San Antonio, joined Leha and the boys to watch the game. I told Chris Drake May is going to be playing from behind the whole way, and Kenneth Walker is just going to be running up and down the field with ease. They could barely stop Harvey, who we knows he's no Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Broncos D line has had trouble against the run this whole playoff run. Their fluke path to the Super Bowl, bro. You're talking going up against a second stringer, going up, in crappy weather. They just had the equivalent of the Lakers Mickey Bowl type of run, right? They couldn't cash in. Drake
Yeah.
May, the pressure got to him. Kenneth Walker, he stepped up, and beautiful thing I read afterwards was that his dad suffers. He has very bad public anxiety. This was actually the first game he's attended, and he showed out in front of his father. So shout out Kenneth Walker the third. By no doubt, bro, is he gonna get that MVP? I know some people were saying the kicker, but it had to be him. He was running
You
up
know,
and up, up and down them butts.
it's crazy because I think he's the first or one of the few MVPs that didn't have a touchdown in the game.
Yeah,
And that's, to me, that's kind of crazy. Now, giving it to Jason Myers, kicker for Seattle, I could have seen that as well. What did he kick? Like 5 field goals in the game. I could definitely see that. The defense was on point. I think I told you about a bet that I ended up taking. And had he gotten a couple more catches, you could have made a case for Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp, I told you guys, was going to be a guy to watch at Jackson Smith and Jigma. They were probably going to shadow him a whole lot. Christian Gonzalez did a magnificent job on JSN. And what I told y'all before was the fact of, hey, Cooper Kupp has been there before. He's a Super Bowl MVP. I mean, we could see it. And when he started getting those catches, bro, I was like, oh my God, this 9,000 to 1 odd might actually pay off for me.
exactly. Yeah, so the lights weren't too bright for Cooper Kupp.
Mhm.
Christian Gonzalez, like you said, I want to take a moment just to shout him out, man. Talk about a defensive phenom, and
Mhm.
being part of the culture. You and I are both Hispanic, and just having someone like that show out, even though they didn't get the win, man, he deserves all his flowers too. Because God knows how many touchdowns the Seahawks would have scored on them had he not been available. I believe he stopped the TD at the 1 yard line when they targeted JSN, and
Yeah.
then he had a possible pick the other way. I believe
Mhm.
the following turnaround, right? So Christian Gonzalez just went off. He actually looked like he wanted to be out there, unlike the rest of the Patriots.
It's kind of crazy because the Patriots are such a young team, and I get it. Bright lights, big moments. I think what we got to understand too is when you look at the veteran side of things, Seattle, they were just a veteran-led team. They were a dominant team. The second half of the season, including the playoffs, Seattle was a juggernaut on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they were stopping
For sure.
teams. I think they held San Francisco to what, like 9 points in the last 2 games that they played against each other. I mean, they just were remarkable on both sides. The crazy thing is, and I shout out to Leha because I saw him posted, but I had seen it way before talking about can Seattle repeat? And I mean, they have the third most cap space available in the offseason. They're going to bring everybody back. I mean, pretty much everybody's coming back. I don't see
Yeah.
that anybody else going anywhere. But the problem is that, like I told people, Kubiak gone. That's a huge piece. And look at the example set because Ben Johnson left the Lions, and look how good the Lions were on offense. Kubiak leaving Seattle could have that Ben Johnson effect for Seattle. So, like I told Lehan, I told the boys, I said, I wouldn't say it's almost a guarantee they could repeat, but it's difficult because of Kubiak gone. And not only that, injuries, man. I mean, do you think they could possibly repeat?
Yeah, because the way I see it, Seahawks defensively, they're on a league of their own, Rudy. And if they're able to bring back majority of those people, then I think their chances of repeating goes up significantly. Yes, taking a loss of the offensive coordinator, that it's a big loss for the team, but it's not something that's actually that could destroy them just with losing him. 'Cause
Yeah.
you could argue that this whole playoff run was all because of the defense. Like you stated earlier, they held Brock Purdy to less than 200 yards. Christian McCaffrey, who had been scoring 75 plus yards per game, was held under 50. Like, man, this is the Legion of Boom 2.0. I wouldn't put it against them to be in the Super Bowl, if not the divisional, the finals. But
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't put it against them not being able to repeat. I don't see another team defensively that could could stick up with them. You referenced the Lions, but just as their offense fell off, they lost some key players on defense too.
Yeah.
So if the Seahawks could keep that, them front and center, that mold, man, I wouldn't put my money against them.
It's definitely a bet you could possibly take. Samson Lisa's defensive masterpiece of a Super Bowl.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
definitely. Matt Gomez in here says, "What up, guys? What's up, Matt? Be sure to stick around for the later part of the show, Matt. You might like it here.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships is what Jacob says, and then Jeff is in here as well. Shout out to Locked On Spurs, Rudy. Why do you think the Hawks will not repeat? Defense wins titles. No, yeah, defense wins titles, but so where I look at it too is the two biggest things: the loss of Clint Kubiak. Now he's a Raiders head coach, but the other thing is injuries. I mean, Kenneth Walker has had some injury spells in his career. You saw the loss of Zach Charbonnet that didn't affect them, but you've got to consistently stay healthy. They've got two receivers in Jackson Smith-Njigba and Rashid Shaheed. They should be fine. They should be coming back. Do they let go of Cooper Kupp? Possibilities there. They may go a different route. They have Jake Bobo there as well in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, who was one of my dark horses back in the draft a few years back. So they got a good receiving core. The defense is going to be fantastic. The offensive line is going to be stout. Sam Darnold, is going to come back. So everything points in the right direction for a repeat for the Seahawks. But man, it is so difficult to repeat in any sport. So we'll see, man. Percentage.
It's not as easy as running it back in the NBA, right? I mean, we've seen the Triple P champs, via the Lakers, the back-to-back champs, the Houston Rockets, the Spurs making it back to the finals 2 years in a row. The adjustments in the NBA aren't as big as they are in the NFL. So what we have to consider is not just the changes that the Seahawks, can make, but what's happening around them. In the NFC, it's only going to get stacked up even more. We saw my boys, the Cowboys, pick up an defensive coordinator who's actually worth a damn, right? And when they had the number one offense in the league last season, yardage-wise, and everyone said it. If the Cowboys could get their defense to click, then there's a chance they're able to make a run. So, there's always the chance that, maybe Cowboys get it together and they're the ones to boot the Seahawks or, just stuff like that. Just an example, right? It all depends on what's surrounding the Seahawks next season, not just so much what they bring to the table. But who knows? NFL's hard to script. I mean, hard to predict. Sorry, not hard to script.
You said it, not me. He's also asking who will challenge the Hawks next season. NFC-wise, I mean, you can never count out the Rams. The Rams, they kind of had a little falter when Devontae Adams was out with an injury. They were rolling before that. So, I mean, if Devontae doesn't get injured, maybe the Rams secure a number one seed over the Seahawks. But, I mean, you also got – the Niners are going to be interesting because they may lose George Kittle in the offseason. They really don't have a whole lot in San Francisco right now. But if you're looking at NFC, I think if the Cowboys can actually get – something going on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to franchise tag George Pickens, which I'm probably against that a whole lot. I think you're going to franchise him, but eventually you're going to have to sign him. And I don't know, I would maybe restructure a couple of deals and just get it signed right now. But you've also got a team that I'm going to talk more in the offseason about here as I do some offseason breakdowns in the NFC that you got to watch. And that is the New York Football Giants, man. I mean, you go out and you get Harbaugh. He's already putting a hell of a coaching staff around him. You've got a young QB. Yeah, you got a young QB. You've got Scatterable. You got a great running game. You're going to go in the NFL draft. You can go pick up another receiver to go right alongside Neighbors. The offensive line is good enough to get it done for now, but they can go sign a couple of vets. Not only that, their defense is an upcoming defense. So they could challenge. There's a lot of teams, Jeff, that could challenge. Don't forget the AFC. Patrick Mahomes can easily turn that Kansas City Chiefs offense around if he comes back. I know he's out with an ACL for the year, but we'll see if they do come back. Maybe not this year, the following season. They did get Eric Bieniemy back as the offensive coordinator. There's so many different teams that can compete next year that's why I say the Seahawks probably will not repeat. Sam Salinas, me, that's Matt Gomez, the chosen one. He's freeing everyone from the shackles of wow, okay. Defense wins chips, and the Chargers won't ever win one. Shout out to Jacob.
Shout out to Jacob.
Hey, yo, fun fact: every time Seahawks went to the final, Spurs have won. Okay, I can buy the Spurs hype right now, but last thing on the NFL, man, we've got NFL coverage. The draft's going to be coming up here in a few months, obviously. So we'll come back with you guys. We've been working on some Raiders talk right now. Would you be surprised if I told you that out of I have the gauntlet in my hand, and Stephen Strange came to me in a dream and said, out of 14 million possibilities, Rudy, there's only one, and that's the Raiders need to trade the number one pick this year in order for them to be successful. I don't know. Would you buy that if I told you that?
And I believe so. I don't think they're completely bought into the fact of Mendoza going over there. So if they're
Yeah.
able to trade that for a veteran player or a couple more picks, I think that's the right move to make, Rudy. We all know.
Yeah.
We all know for the most part their scheme isn't exactly air oriented. It's more on the ground play. Being led by Ashton
Mhm.
Genty. So you just need someone to get to Genty and someone to get to what's their tight end, Rudy? What was it? What's his name?
Brock Bowers. Brock
Brock
Bowers.
Bowers. You just need someone that's able to throw the rock 15 yards for Bowers. Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Mendoza. Trade the picks, get your players, and make a run. Raiders, stop staying stagnant. Y'all haven't been relevant since Ice Cube wore y'all's cap in Boys in the Hood, and we all know how that movie
Wow.
ended.
Oh wow. Yeah, Ricky. Oh my God. Hopefully they don't get anybody named Ricky on that team, because if it ends up like Boys in the Hood, Ricky's a goner. So stop the cap. They had number one pick for Dak Prescott. Yeah, I'm not saying that last name, but yeah, I don't know if we
Come
can trade him
on.
for Dak Prescott, man. Speaking of draft picks, man, we're gonna move right along. We got some NBA talk from here on for the rest of the show. We got some NBA tanking news. We got the Lakers injury report before tonight's game against the Spurs. Then we got some Spurs chisme about moving. Dude, you got the tanking situation. Now, Utah's under fire. They were up on Orlando,
Rightfully
and
so.
they went ahead and they benched Markkinen, and they benched Jaren Jackson Jr., and they didn't play in the fourth quarter. Will Hardy was asked at the end of the game about it, and he's like, he wasn't putting them back in. I
Right.
get it, man. A lot of old school NBA players, a lot of old heads, and even me, I don't like the tank game, but I understand it. I understand why you do it. You went out, you won you were one of the trade deadline winners. You got Jaren Jackson Jr., you got, a really good front line. You got Ace Bailey, you got a lot of this. And I'm just talking about Utah right now, but you need a top lottery pick, to kind of be another centerpiece for this team. So I get why you tank. But for you, is it wrong to tank in the NBA? I mean,
I mean,
truthfully, it's not just the
as
NBA, it's everybody.
Yeah, I mean, but as a Spurs fan, I'd be a hypocrite to say that tanking is a bad thing, per se, because without tanking, we wouldn't have gotten Wembanyama, we wouldn't have gotten Steph Castle. But on the other hand, when you're a degenerate gambler like myself, Rudy, and you have your money on Lauri Markkanen to score over 20 points, and he's stuck at 17 going into the fourth, and he doesn't play a single second of the fourth quarter, yeah, I have a problem with tanking because you're messing with my funds at that point. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm all for tanking if it's going to help out the franchise in my town, but I just don't like seeing it as an outsider looking in, especially
Mhm.
like I said, when you're gambling and you have your money line set on something, and they bench Nurkic, they bench Jackson, they bench Markkinen going into the fourth. It doesn't make sense. At least when the Spurs did, it wasn't so damn obvious. But it's not pretty, but it's almost the equivalent of us hack a shacking during that whole series, right? It wasn't pretty to the outside, but for us, part of the team, it worked out. So that's
Well,
just my 2 cents on it, bro. I'm not a fan of it, but
I'm gonna bring this up
do what
before
you
we
must.
yeah, and I'm gonna bring this up before we go any further here. So a guy that I listen to, and I always listen to him a lot, and I've kind of tweeted at him a few times. He's kind of liked it and tweeted back. And shout out to Justin Termini of Sirius XM NBA Radio. He has a great show with Eddie Johnson, former who I used to call one of the Spurs killers back when he played in Phoenix. Eddie Johnson.
Nice.
He made the comment on there. He made the tweet, and I'm going to bring this up a little bit, larger, so you guys can maybe see a little bit better. It says you can't praise Popovich as an all-time great and rip what Will Hardy is doing at the same time.
Exactly.
Popovich oversaw two blatant tanks and is only a legend because one resulted in Tim Duncan. Without tanking and getting lucky in the lottery, most people probably wouldn't even know Pop's name. Now, I know for a fact, like a lot of people are probably going to say, well, that's wrong, this and that. But at the same time, Termini, I don't disagree with what he said. I mean, without Tim Duncan in San Antonio, do the Spurs have titles? I mean, that's a very, very
I don't think so,
question.
because every team was built around Timmy. It's not Timmy was the one. It wasn't him helping out the team. It was the team helping out Tim Duncan. Because without him leading the charge, the Spurs don't make that run. We don't become that dynasty, in my opinion. Coach Popovich just becomes lost in the fray. I agree 100% with what he said, Rudy.
Yeah, Termini, he kept it real, and that's what we do here at Box Score. We keep it real. And again, it's not a knock on Pop. Pop is a great coach, but every great coach has a great player or team to get them to the promised land. I mean, there's good God. I mean, is there really a coach out there that's won the big one
Who's
without
Mark
having a great?
Who's Mark Jackson without his guy, bro? Who's Bill Belichick without Tom Brady? Who's Coach Pop without Tim Duncan? I mean, because even if it was just
Mhm.
Tony and Manu, that wouldn't be enough to get them where they are now, where the dynasty is now.
Well, you
So
saw
yeah,
Belichick without Brady. You saw Pop without Duncan. I mean, that wasn't
exactly.
exactly the greatest of all times. I mean, that's the thing, and it goes back. Jimmy Johnson. I mean, he had those dynasty with the Cowboys. I mean, you go back to Chuck Noll. They with the Steelers. I mean, he had Bradshaw. He had a hell of a team. I mean, in the NBA, I mean, Phil Jackson is not the all-time NBA, champions wins in titles without Jordan, without Kobe and Shaq. I mean,
Exactly.
Red Auerbach had Bill Russell and Bob Cousy. I mean, that's the thing is that I get what Termini was saying. I really true get it. Now he did say, he oversaw two blatant tanks. That's the part I get. Do NBA teams blatantly tank? Yes. Why is it a big deal today when it's been going on forever? All of a sudden, one team does it in Utah, and you're like, well, now it's a problem. It's been a problem for a long time, man.
But part of it too is the economic side of it, Rudy. You weren't paying this much to come to these games, so the fans also take it as a slap in the face. You're coming all the way to these games to watch your favorite players play, and they end up not having a single minute on the court, especially when it's a close game. What were they within 5 points or some BS like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it on all sides of the spectrum, but like I said, it's just part of the game. Just like gambling is part of every league, whether you like it or not. There's gonna be a way. There's always a way where they're screwing each other over or giving them the dub. So it
Yeah.
is what it is,
And
man.
you're right on. Before I get to Lejas taking a couple of the comments, you're right on the betting thing. I think because now we are able to bet on sports and freely bet on sports, then you start to see a lot of this come out because you expected Markkinen to have 27 points and he goes into the fourth quarter with 25 and he's benched, and you're like, that's literally one basket. That's
Yeah.
literally, if he's got 26 and he's 27, that's one basket. You knew he was going to get it. So now everything wants to be investigated. Everybody gets pissed off because, oh, well, now that we're doing this and, we're betting on games, I lost out on $2,000 because both of these guys didn't play. That's bullshit. I can't do that. I'm like, well, hold up. I mean, you have to also understand too that it's a gamble. I mean, you're gambling and you're praying that they're going to play the whole game.
Yeah, it's all part of it is on you for not having the restraint not to put the bet in. LeBron made me look like an ass in front of my wife the other day where I had her I had her bet on him. His thing was over 21, right? So he has
Mm.
19 points going into halftime. He finishes the game with 20 points. And she looked at me like, what's up with that? And I said, you're mad at me. I'm not the MFer out there botching every shot. Get mad at LeBron.
Yeah.
Now you know why we call him what we call him.
The bum? Yeah, I know. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that a few
You
times.
you know what Leia calls him. It's another B word, but we won't get to that on here.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore on this network. He's actually Leha says they said the Spurs were different because they had shitty players, but we still have 3 of those players. I'm gonna get into that here in a little bit because you made another comment here in just a second. Jeff is saying, "What's my take on Termini?" And I just said it a little while ago. I think Elias and I were on the same page.
Yeah.
Termini's right. I mean, without Tim Duncan, Pop is not Pop. I mean, you know, let's put it this way: with no Duncan, does Pop get Tony? Probably not, because remember, they were a top team. They drafted Tony towards the bottom. Spurs are more than likely lottery or, right around that middle point. Maybe they do draft Tony that high. I don't know. I mean,
I
who's to
doubt
say
it.
at the time? Manu was drafted in 99, so the possibility of drafting him is still there. So you could still have Manu on the roster, but things change without Tim Duncan. So is Pop an all-time greatest coach? I don't know. It's difficult to say, but did he tank? Did the Spurs tank for Duncan? I mean, Dominique Wilkins was their leading scorer that year before at 21 points a game. Robinson was out. And that's the thing. You can't say, well, they tanked. Well, I mean, shit, Robinson was out for the whole year. Sean Elliott was injured. I mean, their roster was gutted. They were literally a bad team. So was it tanking? Probably a little bit in there. They figured, you know what, we're not going to win this year. Shut it down. That's an obvious there. So can you say it's 100% tanking? I don't know. But Jeff, to answer it real quick, yeah, he's not a legend without Tim Duncan. Pop doesn't win titles without Tim Duncan. Everything was built around him. And you know what? We're not apologizing for any titles whatsoever. I'm supposed to believe that all of a sudden Vassell is just suddenly super good. Keldon finds out his half second eggs. This is where I got to stop Leha. Now, I love Leha to death because I've said it before. I'm going to say this again. I don't know if you want to agree with me on this. Devin Vassell, Coach Pop Devin Vassell, and I've said this on Locked On Spurs many times, is a different player under Coach Mitch. And you're starting to see that. Under Vassell, it looked like Pop kind of used Devin well, but Mitch is using Devin. I guess he's getting more out of him. And I think
he's using
difference.
he's using him to his strength. I mean, we all know that towards the end of Pop's time as the coach, he was very experimental in a bunch of his positions and whatnot. He wanted Devin Vassell to play above his means, and that's not a knock on Devin. He's human like any one of us, but he's just not the Superman of the Spurs. Kelvin Johnson, another example that Leha brought up. He's finally coming into his own. He's embracing that role player role, and greatly. He finally figured out how to throw that weight around and whatnot. It's just a mental thing as well. If you have a coach that believes in you in the position you're meant to be in, that's going to take you a long way. I'm not saying Coach Pop undermined them by any means, but those experiments weren't exactly didn't exactly have the best outcome. A la Jeremy Sohan. Yeah, we all know he's not that center. He's not a point guard. He's barely a damn wing, and he's probably the best tall waiver we have nowadays. So he's good at his new role.
Yeah, and that's the different part too. Look at it like that. Sohan under Coach Pop was getting the minutes, getting the run, but under Coach Mitch, he's an afterthought. So it depends on that coaching style. Now, yeah, we finally got Devin Vassell to play at the potential and the way we've expected him to play his whole career. Now we're getting to see it. But again, look at the difference of it. It's the difference in coaching. It's Pop, it's Coach Mitch. Some players work under Coach Pop and may not work under Coach Mitch. Sohan. Some players may work under Coach Mitch and don't work under Coach Pop. That's Devin Vassell. So, and dude, the bread is in the pudding there. Look at the record. Nobody expected the Spurs to have this record this quick this season. And if you did,
exactly,
I might have to call you a liar on air. I mean, that's
go get yourself a lottery ticket, bro, because no one saw this shit coming. But Rudy, I saw. I know you haven't been on X that much, but I've been on the bad side of. I've been on my worst behavior. Is what I mean. I've been on my worst behavior. I saw someone tweet out after Jeremy said he wasn't getting bought out. They said Coach Pop saw potential in Jeremy Sohan. Jeremy Sohan worked well under this team, worked well on the Spurs, on Coach's Spurs, to which I commented, yeah, bro, but this is in Coach Pop's Spurs. This is Coach Mitch's Spurs. And if we look back, we have six losing seasons under Coach Pop. So it's either get with the program or pack your shit and get out of San Antonio one way or another. And, they weren't a fan of, I could have probably used better words, but at the end of the day, I stand on business, stand on what I say. Jeremy doesn't work out for this team. He was never an elite defender, Rudy. You've studied the game more than all of us. He was not an elite defender. He was a good defender on a shitty team. A lot of these people can't get that through their head. Yeah, oh yeah, he locked up the best player from the opposing team. Well, damn, who else are you gonna have do it? Lucas Simonic, Josh Primo, old Devin Vassell. Come on, bro. Jeremy Sohan was the best player on the worst team in the West. And now that they came up and they're ranked number 2, there's no place for him. And I'm sorry to say, whether you think he's cute or whatever the hell y'all fandom over him, it doesn't make sense to me. If you know basketball and you know he's not right for the team, at least not at this point, send his ass to Austin and he might fit in perfectly.
Well, and that, the thing with Jeremy is, talked about it on Locked On Spurs. I never had him. I had him as a late first round, second round draft pick. There was never anything in the video, any of the, videos I've watched, any of the game recaps that I watched when he was at Baylor. Nothing showed him being a lottery pick or even a middle first round pick at all. So when they took him, I thought, okay, this is something different. But they wanted to, I guess they saw the success they had with Boris Diaw. He was the closest to the comp that a lot of people were calling Boris Diaw. I didn't quite see it, but I understood it. Again, just a player that I think they drafted thinking we can maybe get an all-around tall point guard a la Boris Diaw, someone that can make the pass, make the play here and there, just give you a little bit here and there, and it just didn't work out. It's not a big deal at all. Players don't work out on teams all the time. It does happen. So nonetheless, I mean, Jeremy's still here, so we'll still be able to do that.
Yeah, look at Michael Porter Jr. on the Nuggets compared to who he is now in Brooklyn. He's the face of that franchise. Maybe it'd be better for Jeremy to move on.
But, and he probably will. He probably will in the offseason if they keep him. Like I said, I thought he might get bought out. Whether he does or he doesn't, no big deal. If he stays with the team throughout the entire season, who knows? I mean, he could give you those 2, 3, 4 minutes in a playoff series just to kind of guard somebody for a little bit, give Victor a little break, and then come right back out. The guy can be used in other ways, so it is what it is. I don't think he's going to come back for next season. Tanking something the NBA has to accept. They've accepted it for this long. They should still be accepting it. The only way I can think of tanking is take off the protection. And I heard this on Termini and Johnson the other day with a caller. He said, take off the protections. No, you can't have a 2027 protected first round pick. If you're going to trade it, you're going to trade it. But they said you can't do that because then it doesn't, it's not a good thing. You see less of them traded. I'm thinking, okay, good. You can make it a protected, but if it falls in that lottery protection in 2027, then 2028, no matter if you got the first pick or the last pick, you lose that pick regardless. So I think that's what it should be, is if you can't get that 2027 protected pick, then in 2028, it becomes unprotected, zero.
Yeah, and you lose out.
Zero. So I think that would make me get teams to think, well, maybe we shouldn't tank at all. That's kind of one thing that I kind of looked at. You think the Jazz blatant tank? Yeah, I mean, they're tanking. I have no problem with them tanking. I don't really care.
Me neither.
Jeremy's never a NBA caliber. I think he's a good NBA player. He wasn't lottery bound like a lottery pick. He's not going to make a huge difference on this team. Another team, who knows? Is Sohan a bust? I don't think we have enough of him to call him a bust just yet. I mean, he's played more games and probably had more impact than Greg Oden. So, I mean, I think you can't really call him that kind of bust just yet. Why is that even a question? Sam, he's the best Payaso ever. I am waiting for the war between Sohan stands and those not important when he is off the team. Chaos. Yeah, he will be off the team. Speaking of off the team, tonight's game, we're almost out of time. Tonight's game, Lakers and Spurs. As you can see, Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Marcus Smart all out against the Spurs. Should be a W, you think, right? For San Antonio?
Should be, but we all know how that turns out. Spurs tend to play down to their opponents at times. But Rudy, is this a case of LeBron ducking the Spurs again or trying to keep his image up there? I don't think the King wants to go out, because we all know he's retiring next season if he doesn't go back to the Cavs. All right, is this a way of LeBron ducking the Spurs and not getting blown out by 30? He doesn't want that on his record, losing to a Wembanyama-led team again. What do you think?
It's a good question, man. It's a back-to-back, and I'm going to use the he's an old man adage here and say, he's old, he's going to. I to be honest, man, is it ducking? I would have normally said no, but now in the latter part of his career, I would say yeah. I mean, there's a lot of games I see him. He doesn't want that smoke all the time, and I'm an old school man. I'm an old school guy. So the whole these players today, like LeBron said, it's tougher today. It's a tough NBA. We play, hard. We play faster. We play that. To me, that's all BS. It's continue to be BS. It's a back to back. You should be okay to play back to back. You were playing in your home gym last night. You didn't have to go very far to get home, relax, and then get up and go back to your home gym. So there should be no reason why you don't play a back to back, other than the fact that Luka's out. So your chances of winning this game are probably zero. You're probably going to have to do more than you're capable of doing in this part of your career. Add that all together, brother. Yeah, he's ducking. I think he's ducking his first tonight.
Yeah, because I mean, if you've watched any Lakers games in this past month, especially with Austin Reeves out, and those when Luka was sitting out, man, I'm talking blowout city. But we had Austin Reeves return about 2 or 3 games back, and he completely outshined LeBron. And this past game, Rudy, the one that I bet on, I'm telling you, when the Lakers benched LeBron or when he went to the bench, they went on a 10-0 run the second time. The first time they went to the bench, they went on a 12-0 run. He's just holding them back. The LeBron of now is not the king that everyone says so. He may have the title of king, but he wears the crown, but he's no king. That crown is made out of that solidified dust, baby powder bullshit he throws up in the air, but he's no king. He was never a king. Just the same way Kobe was never top 5, but that's a conversation for another day. Man, to hell with the Lakers, Rudy.
Wow. I think we know where Leah stands on the Lakers right now, but yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is at this game at this point of his career. I've been on record as saying before, I respected LeBron. I respect LeBron's game. Hell, he's an NBA guy. He's accomplished a whole lot. He's done it in more time than other players have. But at the same time, he's never going to be my GOAT. He's never going to be in my top 5. There's 5 players. There's more than just 5 players that are better than him in my opinion. I respected LeBron in his first run with Cleveland, and then when he left to Miami, that's when I lost all respect for him. That's when you saw a lot of the flopping and this and this and that, and
the fake
I just got
injuries.
tired. Yeah, I got so tired of it, man. I don't know what was more fake, the Paul Pierce crapping his pants or the LeBron. Oh, I have cramps in the finals. I don't know which one's the worst. But...
Or the fake tough guy reaction by Miles Bridges last night, because when Isaiah Stewart went at his ass, he had those Wile E. Coyote eyes pop out and talk. Shout out to the Hornets and the Bad Boy Pistons. Beef Stew, too. One hell of a hustle.
Derek Gervin talked to Isaiah Stewart this past summer when he went to Detroit. They had a little they had a George Gervin ceremony up there, and Beef Stew was there, Steve Smith was there, a lot of Detroiters were there. And Derek said he talked to Isaiah Stewart and he was like, you got to control your emotions, and let's be real, dude. Isaiah Stewart, he's a vital part of that Piston team. They are not number 1 in the East without Isaiah Stewart. He makes a huge difference on a lot of these plays. So he's a vital piece of that team right there. But I agree with Derek. You got to chill, bro. I understand, Homeboy wants to fight, man. I mean, when I saw it last night, I'm like, that's got to be Rick Mahorn. That's got to be Bill Laimbeer right there, man. No F's given. I'm just charging at anybody. I'm swinging at whatever. I don't care.
Ice pack still attached and whatnot. He gave no crap. Yeah. He's like, you know what? My boy's in trouble. He's like, hey, and you and I know away from the NBA how Miles Bridges is in his personal life, the bull crap he played. So I think Stewart just went ahead. He just took a shot for us men, I wish he would have slept him though.
Yeah, he did, man. Locked On Spurs is a crime. Yeah, I'll get your reaction on this. For me, Oklahoma City has 2 players. Detroit has 2 players. Now Toronto has 2 players, with Brandon Ingram being an all-star replacement. The Lakers, who are worse than the Spurs, have 2 players.
LeBron shouldn't be in there.
No, LeBron definitely shouldn't be there. If I'm not mistaken, Houston has 2 now, right? With Şengün.
Yeah, Şengün and Durant.
So how does the second best team in the West, third best team overall, not have 2 All-Stars? That to
Because
me,
I
that
guess I
is
guess they're crediting Mitch Johnson as well, Rudy. They're saying, well, you
maybe.
guys already have Victor Wembanyama and you guys have Mitch Johnson coaching, so let's make room for someone else. But I think Steph Castle rightfully deserves to be up there. If not, a la De'Aaron Fox should be in there. He's been a great
Yeah,
secondary player to Wembanyama. I don't get
me
it.
too.
I don't get LeBron in there, and I don't get Brandon Ingram. Kid knows how to ball. Shouldn't be an all-star.
You know, I'm gonna push back a little. He's the All-Star deserving. I'll give him that. But I think there's more players that could have got an All-Star nod. I mean, nobody likes the guy, obviously in the 2-0, but there's no reason why Kawhi Leonard in his own arena shouldn't have been selected.
Oh, I
I mean,
voted
to
for him.
me,
No, I'm playing. I wanted to get a
you didn't
rise out of
vote.
someone. No, I
Oh
didn't
man.
vote.
Well, I did. I voted for him. I'm
Man,
gonna hide. I'm not an NFL Hall of Fame voter where I hide my vote and didn't vote for Bill Belichick. I'll tell you who I voted for. I'm not MLB crap either. I'll tell you who I voted for. I had Kawhi on one of my votes. I mean, I did. The guy deserved it, man. He's having a great season. He deserves to be there. Steven Jackson. I don't know about Steven Jackson. Oh, well, I guess the Detroit Piston era
yeah,
with
Isaiah
the
Stewart,
Indiana
Steven
Pacers.
Jackson.
Man, we got to go on to our last segment here. Shout out to everybody that's joining us right now. And you know what? Yeah, we're gonna play. It's Spurs Chisme time. Let's get the Chisme ready.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs chisme. Dime, por favor.
All right, so the Chisme has it. It's social media. It's the fans, and I haven't really been on too much. You've been on there, but we've got the Jackals. We've got expansion talk because Seattle and Vegas are going to get an NBA team maybe this summer. And then you got trades. You know, we got to trade Vassell. No, you got to trade Julian. We got to trade De'Aaron Fox. It's not worth the contract. And then expansion time, you got to make sure that you keep these guys, these 8 players or whatever. And then you got to get rid of these guys. I caught up on all that in like the 5 minutes I was on Twitter today. And then you also had the Jackal talk, which I'm gonna make a little comment on that. But
Yeah.
what the hell's been going on with social media? I'm like that Simpsons meme where I walk in, put my hat in, and I turn right around and just walk back out, grab my hat and walk back out, man.
Man, it's what I said earlier. Everyone has a butt doesn't mean you have to show it off, right? That's the equivalent to everyone's opinions. But first off, let's touch on the expansion stuff. So we have a lot of people really that don't know how the expansion work, right? They think, okay, you're able to take from each team along with their picks. It's like, when the hell were you able just to dig into their picks and take them like that? It's like, y'all have no common sense when it comes to this actual basketball front office stuff. All y'all know is dribble the ball and shoot the bat, dribble it and make the ball in the basket. That's as far as y'all's knowledge should go. Because sometimes y'all get on X, start typing away, and y'all are remedial. It's I'm not one to tell people how to fan, but if you're out here just spewing random bullshit, and bro, get a pen and paper and do it where no one can see you. Let's see. We're talking about trades too, man. Where they wanted us to move De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, which rightfully, he hasn't played up to his full potential. But for example, with De'Aaron Fox, we've been undefeated with games that he's averaged over 8 assists, and he far under that, bro. We're still second in the West. So why the hell are we going to get rid of him? Because he facilitates the ball greatly to Wembanyama. But no, they see the Carter Bryant highlights. He had 2 alley-oops to Wembanyama, so he should take over De'Aaron Fox. Man, the second Carter Bryant's putting up numbers like De'Aaron Fox, then we can talk. It's not happening at a consistent basis, fellas. Like I said, take your head out of your butt, or take your eyes out of your butt. Stop looking at highlights and watch the actual damn games. You'll see where everyone is supposed to, where they actually line up. Carter Bryant, shout out to you, dog, but you're not De'Aaron Fox. Jeremy Sohan, you're the best looking on the team, I guess. That's why they keep you around. Eye candy. I don't know. I don't get it. But your fans are just as dumb as your play. Let's see. Where else can I go? Rudy, I'm trying to get canceled tonight, bro.
No, don't. Please don't.
No.
I wouldn't.
I'm just kidding. You're like,
No.
please don't.
Well, before you go any further, let me kind of get you on there, give you a little break talking, because I know you can go on and on and on, and you're gonna rant, and we're gonna get shut down by YouTube and everybody else. I've already been kicked off of Facebook. I don't need to get kicked off of. I got kicked out of Instagram as well, FYI, just lately. So don't need to get kicked off
I'll
any more
post for you, bro.
platforms. Appreciate that. The expansion part, yeah, you protect 8 players. Now, the obvious ones you're going to protect are Wemby, Fox, Castle, Harper. I would say Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Luke Cornett. There's 7 there. The 8th guy,
Yes.
I mean, could be Carter Bryant. I would say probably be your number 8 if he continues to play the way that he does. So I think they've got their 8 guys for expansion. And you're right. Expansion it's a different ball game. It's a different type of thing because there's a lot behind it. It's not so much picks or anything. It's the players that you want to protect. The Spurs have the core already that I think they're going to roll with, and I think they're fine. Does Julian Champagny come into that top 8? If you don't want a guy like Carter Bryant, then yeah, Julian Champagny is going to be a part of that 8. You hope that they don't draft Carter Bryant. If they don't draft him, then no harm, no foul. So that's what you got to understand too about that, is that the expansion draft is a whole different ballgame. We're not going to know until the league votes this summer anyway. So to worry about it now and to bring it up now, it's okay. It is what it is. A trade could be made before then, and that guy that you want protected is on another team. Who knows? As far as trades go, it reminds me of the Mitch Johnson talk that I keep giving to everybody. When everybody bitches about Mitch Johnson, like he's terrible, he's this, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's making the wrong substitutions, he's not running this play, he's not running that. And I'm thinking, like, what am I missing? Am I blind? Or is my glasses just not strong enough to where I'm not seeing what you're seeing? Exactly. You're talking about a team that's 17, 18 games over 500 in Mitch's first full season as the Spurs head coach. He's getting more out of this team than the greatest of all time did at the time. So come on, more do we want? And that goes for trades. Because De'Aaron Fox only had 15 points and 6 assists, and they lost by 3 points, 5 points, 15 points, you have him under a microscope, yet you fail to realize that other guys around him, a Steph Castle maybe had 13 points. Maybe, the generational guy that a lot of people call Victor only had 15 points and 8 rebounds. I mean,
you mean the tall French guy?
Yeah, him, the generational guy that people call generational. He could be having an off game, but it's always somebody that's under a microscope. And they're like, this guy's got to go. He doesn't fit. But again, you pull back the curtain, bro. You look at the record. That one loss, it's like doomsday. But then you're like, well, wait a minute. They're like 34-16 or something like this. Why? Where's the problem? I mean, not everybody's going to go. No one's going to go undefeated. So there shouldn't be an issue there. But those are my 2 things on the trades and expansion. I know you want to get into the little Jackal talk. Matt Gomb's there for Jackal talk. But you got anything more on expansion trades? You want to just go on to our last subject, which is the whole war going on?
No, I'll just, I'll stand by the statements I made earlier. A lot of y'all just have to take a second and watch the actual games and not just the highlights. And shout out, I'm glad you mentioned Julian Champagny earlier. He's been probably one of our most consistent players, on the team. I know we didn't put that comment up, but Leha said this is one person's fault and only one for all this Spurs fan civil war. And he messaged me about that. I was kind of like, okay, who is it? I'm thinking, oh man, he's crapping on Mitch Johnson again. He says all this division is caused by one Victor Wembanyama, for the way he's wanting to be pampered, or the way he goes in there and throws off the game plan at times, and he doesn't click well with certain individuals on the team. But another way he's dividing the crew, the people, is, by his addition of the Jackals and making it seem like it's his own idea. Bro, we've all seen that clap at any FC game, especially or in the World Cup as well. You've seen that damn Minnesota Vikings do it. Wembanyama didn't bring anything new to the table. They just took an idea that was already made and glorified it. Because the SAFC Nesio corner, for example, they've been around for a long time, Rudy. You and I
Mhm.
are familiar with the baseline bums that once existed before the Jackals,
Yeah.
who get the upper hand in my point because they were authentic. They weren't out here tweeting asking you, "Oh, let's make up a new chant or give us ideas for a new chant." Then the second they get called out, they're tweeting out like, "No, no, no, we've had our chants the whole time. We're just trying to get you all involved." If people are going to get involved with you, with your fandom, with your group, it's going to come organically. Y'all are over here shaking the cup. He's like, come on, like me. Come in, come and join us. Come and give us more likes. Come and give us more comments on social media. You're not a real fan cast or a fan section. The fan section from the games I've been, Rudy, you could catch us up there in the rafters with the bats. Because as far as I've
Yeah.
seen, when I go to a game, all that's just where all the social media people are. Those trying to look pretty for the cameras. SAFC, they've done it right. We've had the privilege of going to one of their games. We had that suite, but we could see from up there how genuine the Nesio quarter is with their chants, how fluid it all comes out because it just happens organically. The Jackals, it's kind of like they signal to one another. I don't know if you've ever been to a marching band competition or you kind
Yeah.
of see like the
Yeah.
what the drum majors signal like, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this next. Like, no, if you're gonna do a chant, if you're gonna hit something, you do it organically and people join in. Same thing with the Go Spurs, Go chants and whatnot that we do organically, then they should be able to do that and not come on social media begging. Um, but another part, Rudy, that I want to get into is where did this originate from? A lot of issues that is dividing people is the fact that the Jackals are walking around and getting treated like this is their idea, like it was an original. Like it's never been seen before in any sporting event. Like, bro, no, you guys are just a glorified fan club. Y'all have to pay your way in there. You have to basically have your own subscription to be a part of this damn thing. And it's crazy to think that Amazon Prime's giving them coverage, and we all know it's because Wembenyama's behind it. You think they really care to interview some weirdo dressed up as Nacho Libre who's calling himself the OG, or that California native who's passing himself off as the number one Spurs fan in the Jackal section? Like, nah, bro, y'all are all fake. I've been to games, and like I said, I've sat in the rafters and seen where the real fans kick it at, bro. But what are your thoughts with them, with the way they carry themselves, especially on social media, bro? I know you haven't been on there much, but
Uh, okay, so I will say this much. I went to one game this year, and it was actually a game that my company that I'm with actually, were like, hey, we're gonna send a couple of y'all to the game,
yeah,
enjoy it. Okay. I actually sat right above where the Jackals are. And I was excited because I was like, I want to see how this works out. I get the idea, so I want to check it out. I've been to college games. My one game that I went to that I always remember when I lived in Ohio, I went to Xavier games. Their student section was like balls deep involved in everything they do. And when I say that, I went to like 20 Xavier games that year, and every game it was the exact same thing every single time, that student section. I loved what they did. And then I go, you know what? I was told my wife was like, I wish an NBA team would incorporate this. Now, shout out to Central Catholic because they have a section called Section R, Section Rowdy.
yeah,
And it's the same thing. It's a group of students and they just go crazy all entire game. So we've seen this in other sports, and whatever. But I was wondering, how does it work? How does it work? How is it going to work for the Spurs? I'm glad I saw it. I liked what I saw. I really did. I understand the concept and I love it because it's like you got Cameron Indoor, for Duke University. You have the Cameron Crazies. That drives everybody, that plays there absolutely nuts because they go crazy and they get on you. You see other colleges doing a whole lot of things against people at the free throw line. It's a great atmosphere. I will say
yeah,
that. But I will say for me, being that it's the first year, we can kind of look at it as okay, it's the first year, maybe give it a little time. But if I'm the one doing it, I'm getting people that are already knowledgeable about it, a la a soccer fandom, SAFC guys. I might not have the entire SAFC, guys, all of them there, but I'm picking their brain. Like, okay, that's the closest thing locally that we have to where I want to go. Let me kind of pick their brain and see what's the best way to do this. What's the best way to do that? Again, I'm not saying that Victor is, he's definitely not in the wrong. You're going to do whatever Victor wants to do.
Yeah.
He wants this section, he's going to get this section. Overseas, hell, you see this at every game, no matter what. They're popping fireworks and they're lighting, grenade bombs and all this stuff just to get the crowd going. I love the fact that they're trying it. What I don't understand is I don't understand the concept of getting there to the point. Where do you want to go? Because I like a consistent fan base if you're going to do this.
Exactly.
When you go to Duke, it's one thing. It's organic. It's perfect. It's one way. When I went to Xavier games, every game was the exact same thing. No matter what, it was the exact same thing. And they didn't care if you got involved with the chants as fans. They were doing it. If you wanted to get involved, you got involved. You learned the chants. You learned what they were doing. And that's the way I see it. In soccer, I see the same thing. In Minnesota, you got the skull in the Viking games. So, I mean, I love the idea behind it. I just don't know. I think they rushed it to get it out this season without doing a lot of the homework behind it. And, to go into social media and be like, hey, what do we do next? What do we do next? I totally understand that, man. I mean, if you're going to take charge of this, it's something that should have been done in the off season. You should have everything go. Why? Because if you're a fan in the arena and this is your support team, you feed off of them. You should never feed off the fans. It's your thing. It should be your thing. You should do a chant. And if nobody joins, who cares? Eventually, just like when they go, Victor shooting two shots, that took a little while to get going, but now it's a staple at the Frost Bank. And that's the same thing. If you're going to do something like the Jackals are doing, I commend them for it. But if you're going to do something, do it. Don't do it. Don't ask for anything.
What supporter section stays quiet when y'all are going down? When we're down on the count, when the score's not in our favor, what supporter section just stands around, bro? Or it's not organic. Like if you're gonna show out, like you said, you're gonna show out regardless of the number on the screen. Your whole thing is to hype up the people around you, and if they see you just standing around twiddling your thumbs till the camera faces y'all's direction, that's not genuine. And why ask us for chants? I couldn't make up a chant, or I could make up a chant, but it's not something you're gonna want to actually say out loud. Why not reach out to the previous baseline bums? Reach out to SAFC, And I understand why they don't, Rudy. It's hard to get in contact with SAFC when their damn creator hasn't even stepped foot on Toyota Field. Sorry, Wemby. You're pushing for a football environment, but you can't even make your way, down to Morgan, next to Morgan's Wonderland to Toyota Field. Like, bro, that's all you need to do. Just get involved a little bit. We're not the answer to the Jackals' problems. And you could ask any Jackal. They're going to complain, say, no, we don't have issues. We know exactly what we're doing. Like I said, shout out my friend, Spurs Nacho, always trying to call me out for some reason. Tells me, come try out. Come hear my chants. Come make up some chants. I was like, bro, if you're begging me so hard, I have 600 followers on X. If you're asking me for all that, then you guys already failed as a damn group,
Yeah. What I don't like is something that's new to the NBA, which and I think if I'm not mistaken, Oklahoma City's been doing it for a while. Their fans their entire arena stands up until they score and then they sit down. So I mean there's different arenas that do a whole lot of stuff. Now remember, I think what is it, the Clippers, they have the wall or whatever it is, for their fans. It's similar to kind of what the Spurs are doing with what Wemby does. I'm not crapping on Wemby at all. I love the idea. I got behind the idea, but I just think that it was something where I want this to happen, and you know what? We want it now. And then it's like it's out there, and you've got a group of people that are rowdy Spurs fans I don't like the idea you had to try out, but you're a rowdy group of Spurs fans, but you're how do I and again, I'm not shitting on the Jackals, so don't take this the wrong way if anybody's listening out there. I
Yeah,
will
neither am
clearly say
I.
this. Yeah, no, I will clearly say this. It's rowdy Spurs fans, but it's an unorganized chaos, is what it
Yes.
is. That nothing against SAFC. SAFC has theirs. The Jackals can have theirs. You can be two
Yes.
separate entities. You can coexist without crapping on each other. And that's what I see. Who cares what they do over here? Who cares what they do over here? If they need help, they're going to ask for help. Let it be. I get it. I get that, it sucks that people weren't chosen here, chosen over here. I totally get that. But when it comes to the Jackals, they are a group of Spurs fans, rowdy Spurs fans. Love that. But it's unorganized chaos. I'm hoping and praying going into next season that it's better organized and a lot better, not so much organized, but a lot better structured is what it is. That's the word I'm looking for. It needs to be structured.
Yeah, yeah. And I got labeled a jackal and a Spurs hater just this past week. But let me tell y'all, man, if y'all knew what was happening behind the scenes, y'all would actually be more supportive of what I was trying to do. So, like you mentioned, it'd be good if both teams coexist. Matt Gomez knows that I've been pushing from, hey, let me be the one to connect you with the Jackals, or let me try and get there. So maybe we could come to some sort of compromise, and y'all could not only benefit off the exposure, but come off better as a group. Not only the Netsio corner, but the Jackals themselves. Like you said, they're so unorganized. That also, you know, when you're authentically cheering, it's not always organized. I could be yelling out "Go Spurs, go!" You have some other person yelling out "Defense." Like it doesn't coexist. But it's the beauty behind it, Rudy. It's organic. It's real feelings. But when you're
Yeah.
out here holding up prompters and telling people when to do this, when to do that, and make it obvious, it's almost like obvious signal calling in college football, bro. It makes it so corny when you're like, oh, well, he's going to run it. You could read his damn lips. There's a reason why the NFL coaches cover themselves up and whatnot when giving the plays. It also it entices the audience as well, because you really can't predict what's happening next. But the Jackals are just so out there that they don't really they're not really about the smoke and mirrors, bro. If you go see someone like Chris Angel and you could see him, the ropes keeping him dangling, that knocks you out of the illusion. If you could see
Yeah.
them holding up the script, then it knocks you off the illusion that it's a legit fan corner. That's all I'm saying. Come across with the authenticity a little bit better, and you might have a couple Susios following y'all. Can't say the OTC Susio will be like that. He's a Hornets fan now. If you know, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, Jeff was asking, isn't this more on SAFC for not giving the SAFC crew of it? And Matt just commented, it's more SSE, Spurs Sports Entertainment, who did. I think it's more of like, well, you got to keep. It's almost like that song. You got to keep them separated. I mean,
Yeah.
I think SAFC, like again, Spurs Sports Entertainment, they own both. They're the daddy. They're the boss. But I think it's keeping SAFC here, Spurs over here. I think that's the reason why we may see this war going on between both fan bases. But at the same time, could it ever coexist? I have no idea. I don't have a dog in the fight. I have bigger fights, and I've got, if for SAFC that gets hated on, trust me, we all get hated on at some time in our life. I continue to get hated on because apparently I'm an asshole, and I'm not aware of it. But
We're two of
apparently
a kind, brother.
yeah, I'm apparently I do stuff that people don't like, and I'm never on X or hardly on X or anything. So it says, I was making a spectacle of yourself by yelling lame chants and dressing like a moron, being a rowdy Spurs fan. Again, the Samson is loving him out there. It's fandom, man. I mean, it's fandom. I've seen crazy fans. I've seen people that go to the extreme. I mean, we see guys jumping through tables at Buffalo Bills games. I mean, it's a fandom. Let fans be fans, no matter how crazy it is, no matter how ridiculous it can be. Fans can be fans. I'm never going to judge somebody for how far they will go to be a Spurs fan. I'll never judge anybody on anything like that. I judge one person, but I won't make any name of it on here. But mainly everybody, I will never judge anybody whatsoever. Jackal rejection.
Shout out
We're
to
never-
JC the T man. Create
Yeah.
Shout out only a T man. JC, you gotta love him. He's a wonderful soul, bro. Had the honor of meeting him this last season.
And again, the bridge part is, I think it's almost like you have to just kind of put it away. Just go your separate ways, and eventually that bridge may be
If
created.
it's meant to be, it'll come through.
It's like that girlfriend you had and she broke up with you, and you're like, this was the one that was with me forever. And I expect, and it's like your parents always said, if it's meant to be, it'll come back. She'll come
And
back.
she
It'll
might,
happen.
and at that, she might come back with some new tricks. Just don't ask her where she learned them at.
Or she can come back 9 months later and said the baby's yours, and then
that
hey,
too.
it's meant to be. Yeah. Wearing bondage to Spurs games, goofy behavior. I've never seen that. And I don't know if I want to see that. You think the bums have an issue with the Jackals? Maybe. Says that they actually do have a regular Jackal. So again, it's war on social media.
The war
It's war in
continues,
Spurs.
brother.
The war continues. It's never going to stop, man, without war. But nonetheless, Spurs fans, just kind of chill out there, man. Just enjoy the season. You got a winning team. You shouldn't be arguing about anything. If you're going to argue about anything, maybe argue the fact that, I don't know, that there's not a second all-star for the Spurs other than Mitch Johnson and Victor Wembanyama. That's really the only argument any Spurs fan can ever have right now. Who cares about the Jackals? Who cares about this? Who cares about all that stuff, bro? Just enjoy the season. Enjoy the rest of the season.
Just enjoy not being a loser for once. You know, the team these last 6 years. I don't mean y'all in your personal life.
Hopefully not. You got any last words, man, before we go?
No, but I got a quick shout out. Shout out to the Grady the Market crew, me, Jacob, Anthony Turk. Shout out Chunky Flamingo Apparel. Shout out to the SAFC fan cast, my boy Harry Austin, Matt Salinas, Rafa, Matt Gomez. I'm always rolling hard for my boys. They showed us nothing but love when I met them. Well, Matt Gomez tried to drink me under the table with that Jägermeister, so I have some beef with them. But no, I just want to give a quick shout out to them. Shout out to the Sucios. Shout out to the Necio Corners, and shout out to Rudy Campos Sr., the head honcho of Box Score Studios.
Thank you, bro. And, shout out to everybody out there for joining us here, especially Elias, Jacob, and Anthony. Fantastic job on grading the market. And March 7th, yeah, I'm trying, and I actually talked to the guy out there, so we're trying to work out something where I can start covering SAFC games. I can I've covered one SAFC game, and I'm not going to pretend I know anything about soccer or football, as people call it. I don't know hardly anything about it. I mean, you're talking about a guy who had 1,000 tweets when I called it a field and it's supposed to be a pitch. I didn't even know that, man. So that goes to show you my whole knowledge on it. But I will, hopefully, if everything goes good, I'll be able to provide some coverage for SAFC, and then I can meet a lot of you guys out there, and maybe me and Elias can be that bridge to bridge everybody all together. And if we don't like you, we'll kick you off the bridge. There's a few of you out there that we don't like.
Yeah,
so
I'm getting my quads ready for that Spartan kick. Shout out my boy Edgar Sanchez though. I guess I officially have a soccer team, bro. I'm rocking Barcelona for this upcoming season, or unless the season started. I don't know shit. I don't know crap about it. But he said, "Here's your cap. You're rolling with Barcelona now." I was like, "All right, Brody."
There you go, man. I did get a text message before we go last night, actually, saying that a certain Sucio hit a 1-of-1 in a break. So shout out to that Sucio. I know he knows who it is. I don't know if you know who it was, but
no, I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, I'll wait till he posts it. He might post it here sometime. So shout out to him for hitting a 1-of-1 in a soccer break, of all things, man. That's a crazy good break right there. So congratulations on that. Oh, look at that. Look who comments after I say that. I'm not going to name any names, but those eyeballs are sure giving it away, aren't they? Nombre and then bandwagon, definitely. Hey, so for everybody out there on Box Score Studio TV, appreciate you guys joining us. Shout out to Chunky Flamingo. Chunky Cards 20 is that promo code. Get you 20% on your next order from chunkyflamingo.com. MCS General Contracting, partners of us here at Box Score Studios. Jacob Eric's chiming in. Chris is holding out You said it, not me. Man, they just keep coming in. The cat makes you look fat, Sith. Oh no, you need to do something else. I'll show out. Pause. Oh God, here we go. Before it gets any crazier, shout out to everybody out there. Appreciate you joining us here. Look for more Box Score Studio TV content coming very, very soon. NFL draft coming up. Also grading the market. Going very, very strong again. Box Score Studio looking for some more podcasters out there. Not so much doing entire shows, but we are looking for more content creators out there. You guys want to get your resume to maybe go up to the next level? Should have contacted me, man, because we got a lot of opportunities for you to add to that resume, and it goes a lot further than just Box Score Studio. So what do you got, man?
And if anyone's into, movies, video games, anything of that nature, I am looking to run a show that has to do with pop culture. We could review movies, review video games, stuff in that nature, give everyone a break from the sports stuff. So if you're willing to co-host with me, go ahead.
Uh-oh, did we lose him? Right at the very end, we lost Sith. All right, so Sith is out there. I think he's got, but what he was saying was that he's definitely he's going to be looking to do a podcast, is what it is. So if you want to join Sith on his new pop culture podcast, you can contact me, contact Sith. Oh, he's back now. So let me bring him on. You good there?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi lagged on me. Sorry about that.
You're good. You want to hit him one more time before we go?
Alrighty, yeah. So any of y'all fans of, if y'all are into pop culture stuff, if y'all are into movies, video games, comic books, superheroes, anything like that, I'm looking to make a new show, hopefully on the Box Score Studio Network, to give y'all a break off the sports talk. If y'all are looking to co-host, go ahead and shoot me a DM over on my Twitter at X and Sith_V2.
Yes, before Sam says you got the MJ internet, I actually think you have the Kawhi internet. It just kind of works when it wants to, doesn't it? I mean, that'd probably go that route right there.
pretty much.
Shout out to Sith and everybody out there, Box Score Studio TV. It's Rudy Campos Jr. Until we roll this again, we'll see you guys later.
This is Box Score Studio. Breaking it down, calling it real, and keeping you one step ahead of the game. Catch you on the next one.